Welcome back to a video series I'm calling Everything I Know About Backpacking in the Eastern Sierra. It's a series of videos that I'm just dumping all my knowledge of backpacking in California's Sierra Nevada onto the internet in hopes that someone else finds it useful. So this episode we're going to talk about clothes. What should you bring on your hike? Again, this isn't the definitive, this is what you should bring, this is just what I bring, and hopefully it'll inform some of your decisions. There's two categories of clothes that I have. Clothes that you wear, and clothes that are going to keep you warm after you're done hiking. The clothes that you wear during hiking, and then stuff to keep you warm after hiking. So I'll just start. This is my hiking shirt. It is a long sleeve shirt with chest pockets and a collar. As I've mentioned before, and I'll mention again, when you go to the backcountry, you want to be prepared for the elements and you want to be comfortable, and being fashionable is not my first thought or my second thought or my third thought. It's really about having the right equipment, and how you look in your selfie pictures that you're going to post on Facebook when you return is kind of less important than how your clothing and equipment will create a pleasurable experience for you on your hike. So these kind of collared shirts, first cardinal rule of clothing: don't bring cotton. Don't bring cotton because cotton does not stay warm when it's wet, and cotton, when you get sweaty in it, it's not as comfortable, it doesn't breathe as well, it doesn't shed moisture as well. There's a lot of reasons, but if you can avoid bringing cotton, do it. I've seen people hike in denim. I don't recommend denim. A, it's cotton, so all those things apply, and B, it's extremely heavy. But again, if that's all you have and you don't want to spend a bunch of money, maybe that's what you're going to do. But I would say that jeans are a safety hazard. If you get caught in a storm of some kind, you'll get really cold really fast. So I wear this shirt, long sleeve shirt. Here's another one that I have in my closet. A lot of people make these. The North Face makes this one. I think Columbia makes this one. There's a shirt that a lot of people like. It's from Columbia. It's called the Silver Ridge long sleeve. So if you want a good hiking shirt, that's a good one. Let's talk just quick about the color of your clothing. I don't have, you can pick something that's marginally fashionable. Stay away from dark colors and stay away from dark blue especially, because I read that is the #1 color that mosquitoes are attracted to. They like dark colors and shadows, and that's where they hang out. So even though a white shirt is going to show your spaghetti stains a little bit worse, it's probably better to go with bright colors for that reason. Okay, so clothes you wear. What do I hike in during the day? Obviously, I hike in boots. You can hear more about that in my shoes and feet and boot talk. That's another installment. But I wear heavy hiking boots. I wear single heavy wool socks, and I only bring one pair of socks on my trip. There's going to be a lot for people who are new to backpacking and camping. There might be a little bit of squeamishness around the lack of change of clothes that I bring. Basically, it's just not necessary. Once you wear something for 2 hours, it's gross and nasty and smells disgusting. And so I'm only going to bring one pair of socks because I'm going to take it off at night, and I'm actually going to wear it through the night as well to keep my feet warm. But the next day, if I had a new sock, within an hour, it would be just as disgusting as this old sock. Also, you can wash stuff. Like I said, you've got a lot of lakes that you're going to be at. There's always streams. If you get to camp early one night, you could totally wash your socks, hang them out to dry. In the Sierra Nevada, it's a very dry climate, so things dry really quickly. I only bring one pair of socks. My wife, not the case. She needs fresh socks for every day. Fine, but she's carrying that weight. Boots, shoes, socks, shirt. The temperatures up there are really comfortable, so I wear long sleeves if it's 90 degrees for the sun. I don't wear a short sleeve shirt because the sun is really intense up there and you're gonna get crazy farmer tan neck burn. I don't wear tank tops because the sun's gonna destroy you. So I always wear long sleeves for the sun and for the bugs. So this is the shirt I wear. For pants, these are just lightweight, long nylon pants. They got a couple pockets. These ones happen to be from Patagonia, but you can get them for pretty cheap at even places like Target. It's got a built-in belt, so you don't need to You don't need to have a separate belt. They're very lightweight. They're super breathable. Some people like them with the zip-off bottoms to make them into shorts. I don't, because I always hike with them long, again, for the sun. If you're hiking late in the day or early in the morning, the sun comes at you almost straight across, and so it's not coming down. Your legs will get burned. There may be brush that you brush into, little scrapes and scratches, and again, the mosquitoes. Loose-fitting clothing is way better than tight-fitting clothing for the mosquitoes, because most of the time this isn't in direct contact with your skin if it's loose, so the mosquitoes can't get at you. Some people like to be fashionable and wear tight leggings. I went on a trip with a friend who I let him borrow some stuff, and he ended up wearing a tight shirt on his arms, and we went through some pretty bad mosquito country, and he was just covered with mosquito bites because they went right through the shirt. And if he had had a baggy shirt on, that wouldn't have been an issue. So I recommend loose-fitting, breathable clothing. These are what I hike in. Let's talk quickly about underwear. I used to bring underwear. Again, this is going to make some of you uncomfortable. Don't care. I used to bring underwear. I don't anymore. I have this multifunction piece of shorts gear here. These are phenomenal. It's just a really lightweight polyester short. This is Patagonia field shorts. If you do a search online, Patagonia field shorts. They were originally formulated for ultimate frisbee. So they're meant to be super lightweight and dry really fast. This is the best swimming suit I've found for the backcountry. It's super small, it weighs less than 3 ounces. It dries immediately. Within minutes of being out of the water, it's dry again. So what I've taken to doing now, if you're on a solo trip, you can skinny dip. No one cares. Although it depends on where you are. There might be a lot of other people around. But what I've taken to doing is just wearing these as underwear, and it cuts down a little bit of the friction around your stuff, and it's very comfortable. And so I wear these as underwear. Underneath these, again, I swim in these twice a day, so they stay pretty clean. Underneath these guys, they also make these pants with a little basket, like some swimsuits have. And that's another way you can go. Some people like underwear. So I've hiked in everything from loose-fitting polyester underwear to tight sort of compression short type underwear. And honestly, this is the best solution I've come up with, and it's super lightweight. Okay, so that's 3 articles. This is what I'm wearing during the day. I don't bring a second shirt. I don't bring second pants. I don't bring second shorts because it's just more weight that I don't need to carry. You're going to be dirty. You're going to be smelly. Again, it's not a fashion show. Maybe if you've got a hot date that you're bringing up there with you, bring something that smells good for the evening time or whatever, but this is what I hike in. Now, that is pretty much the what I hike in talk. In terms of most of the time in Sierra, that's going to do it. It's very light, it's very small, that's what you're wearing. When it gets cold, you've got a number of things that you also need to have. Cold weather gear at night, and also, I've never hiked in fleece pants, but because it hasn't been cold enough up there. But if you're going at the shoulder seasons in the spring or the fall, you may end up hiking in more layers than just what I have there. So the next warm layers are fleece pants. These are pretty tight fitting. These are also from Patagonia, but again, many people make this sort of long underwear type thing. Fleece is a great material. Fleece has a lot of warmth for the weight. So, and you can get all this stuff cheap. You can find fleece garments like this, not only at the big outdoor stores for pretty cheap, but even at like Goodwill, you can get outfitted for really cheap. There's not a reason to spend a ton of money. So these are the fleece pants I have. I wear these in camp. Basically my routine is when I get to camp and it starts to get cold, I'll put these on, and then I'll put these pants back over them. And that'll help with the mosquitoes, again, like I said. The other thing just to mention about these 2 pieces of clothing, and I'll talk about this more when I talk about bug protection in general, but I've treated these clothing with a chemical called permethrin, which is basically an insect repellent. The mosquitoes sort of land on this, and then they leave me alone, and they go off and die somewhere. But I've treated these with that, and I treat them almost every season, and it seems to help a lot when the mosquitoes are bad. I'll talk about that more when I talk about mosquitoes later. So, warm leggings, and then I have a similar material, fleece, warm top. Now, this is an awesome piece of gear. When I discovered this, I was super psyched, because not only is it really warm, this is also from Patagonia. It's got a little chest pocket here, so I sleep in this. And I'll keep things like my earplugs in here, maybe like some chapstick. Your lips get really dry at elevation. So that's really nice. Also, if you get cold, It's great. You just throw up the hood. I'm overheating right now. And there's little, it's got little thumb things, so it can keep it lower on your hand for more warmth. This is a phenomenal piece of gear. Also, I've hiked in it. The zipper goes pretty low, so you can hike in it and you can regulate your temperature with the zipper. Really good. So that's my fleece layer. If it's going to be really cold, and by really cold I mean 30s, you know, if you're talking, usually it's 70s and 80s during the day and 40s at night, high 30s. If it's going to be in the 20s or something, you're going to want more warmth than that. What I bring when I need more warmth is one of two things. A thinner base layer, which is just like a polyester, polypropylene, really thin, long sleeve shirt. Again, a lot of people make these, no reason to spend a fortune on them. They're not that expensive. It's basically just like long underwear. Again, no cotton. This is all, most of this stuff is polyester or polypropylene. So I'll bring this. This increases warmth quite a bit when you layer it. So again, when I get to camp, I'll put this on, and then I'll put this back over it. You know, you want to be using your gear as much as possible. You don't have gear that you only use sometimes. So all this walking stuff, I also wear it at camp. I just put the warm layers on underneath it. So that's a good one. And then if it's going to be really cold, I might bring another fleece layer like this. This one's by Marmot. Got it on sale at REI. It's just a little bit thicker fleece shirt. So if I thought it was going to be cold, I'd put this on, and then I'd layer this fleece on top of it, and then I'd put this shirt on top of that. Lastly, in terms of warm tops, so that's all good, but you're going to need some kind of, when you get to camp at night, when you're walking around at night, when you're in your sleeping bag, it's not a big deal. You're not going to, if you have a good sleeping bag, you're not going to be that cold. But walking around camp, making dinner, doing all your nighttime chores, you need something that's warm. And that's more than what I've just shown you. Like I said, these are sort of extra gear. But if you've just got these two warm items, that's not going to quite be enough, in my opinion. So what I recommend, what I have is down. Again, down. Can't get it wet, but it's phenomenal at keeping you warm when it's dry. So this is called the down sweater. Again, it's Patagonia. I had a pro deal with them for a long time, so I've got a lot of their gear. A lot of people make lightweight down garments like this. They're not cheap, but this is a killer piece of gear. I nicknamed it the heater because when you put it on, it really feels like you plugged yourself into an outlet, and it's incredible for warmth. So when you need to get warm fast, this is really great. Great thing about down is it weighs very little. This one's got pockets in it, and so this will be what I'll put on the top. I'll layer this up. I'll layer the fleece, and then I'll put my walking shirt on, and then I'll put this on the top when I'm sitting around making camp, making dinner. Usually these jackets will fold or pack some way. Usually they have either in one of their pockets or they have a built-in pocket that folds. And you can see the great thing about down is it's not only lightweight, but it compresses to be very, very small. So this is a killer piece of gear. I would say after the big 3 tent sleeping bag pack, this is maybe the next thing I would consider spending money on. You can't get a down jacket for dirt cheap. Fleece, all that stuff, you surely can. If you can't afford a down jacket or you don't have one, just layering up more fleece will work. You can get a heavier fleece jacket or something like that. They also make synthetic down, Primaloft, stuff like that in jackets, but it is heavier, and this is what I found to be the best. There's different thicknesses of this. My wife has a super thick, twice as thick as this down jacket because she is just always cold. We live in Los Angeles and she's still always cold. It baffles me. But she has a much thicker down jacket, so it's really up to you. I find this down sweater to be really good. I wouldn't recommend anything thinner than this. Patagonia has a nano puff, and they have an ultralight down shirt. Those are not going to be warm enough for me. This is great. Worst comes to worst, you have all that stuff on, you're still cold. That's when you get out your rain jacket. Whenever you're going in the mountains, you gotta have a water repellent layer. You never know when a storm's gonna kick up, and you gotta be prepared. This is what I have. This is the OR, I think that's Outdoor Research is the company, Helium 2. It's very, very lightweight. I don't know what it's 7 ounces, so it's super lightweight. And basically it does double duty. Let's say you get onto the top of a ridge, you're hiking, you're sweaty, it's not that warm out, you get on the top of a ridge, you crest the pass, and it's super windy. Suddenly all that sweat that is on you is going to make you cold because the wind's ripping through. So you just pull this out. It's going to break the wind. Also, it's great. I've hiked in this in pouring rain. It's great for storms and stuff like that. Again, pay attention to how much the stuff weighs. I think this was less than $100, and it's super lightweight. You don't need all the bells and whistles of a jacket that you'd need if you were snowboarding, if you were skiing, other stuff. It's just simple elastics on the sleeves there. There's only one pocket on the chest right here, not a lot of other stuff. And again, it has a pocket here that it all folds into. Super compact. Many trips in the Sierra, I've never even needed to take this piece of gear out. But you can see how small that is. It's great. So these two pieces together really are great protection, because the other thing you got to make sure with the down is you can't get wet. And so that's why you need to have a waterproof layer to put over the down, right? If a thunderstorm rips in and just hailing and raining, set up your tent and get in it. But if you're standing out or you can't get in it, you know, these two things together are going to keep you warm and dry, which is great. If you don't, this is a down vest. It could also work. Something like this can work. Like I said, other sorts of thicker fleece jackets can work. But so that is basically the clothes. We have the walking clothes, the shirt, the pants, the shorts that I swim in, and that are also my underwear. One pair of socks, 2 fleece, bottom and top, down sweater, raincoat. That's all the clothes I bring. I don't bring anything else unless it's going to be really cold. Don't need anything else. Last thing I would say, well, there's a couple more things, I guess. Killer pieces of gear, hat. Get a lightweight hat. Hat is a great way to regulate your temperature. At night, if you're in your sleeping bag, if you get cold, just pop the hat on. I mean, it's amazing how much heat you lose. I think it's like 35% of your heat is lost from your head. So a hat is great, and lightweight gloves. These are just, I got these at EMS back in the day when I lived on the East Coast, and REI has the same thing. I mean, it's $25 just for a sort of a polyester. It's got little grippies on it. These are great. If it's cold at night, I'm wearing the hat, I'm wearing all that stuff. In these, cooking, anything you need to do. Let's see. Dressing for sun, talked about. The sun is brutal. Dressing for bugs, talked about that. Sunglasses, don't forget to bring sunglasses. The sun is super bright up there, especially if you're in a bunch of rocks and there's not a lot of dirt. The sun hits the rocks and reflects right up in your face. I'll talk about that more when I talk about sunscreen too, but you gotta apply sunscreen. That's the other reason why I like the collared shirt. A lot of times I'll rock this collar up, as fashionable as that is, pop the collar, because it just gives my neck less space to be sunburned. You'll see people that are seasoned and thru hikers, they'll have crazy looking hats with almost like shades here that's covering their whole face, or what you can do is underneath your hat you could put a bandana that'll hang down. And that brings me to bandanas and hats. Bandana is a great piece of gear. It's the one piece of cotton I would recommend you bring. It's just great to have a soft, I bring a couple. They don't weigh much. It's great to have a soft piece of cotton to wipe your sunglasses off with, because you know, all these technical fabrics, they don't clean sunglasses very well. It's great to wipe your face, when you're cooking, to wipe stuff out. It's just a really good piece of gear. If you need sun protection, you can fold it in half, you can drape it over your head. I don't know how they would do it, but maybe like this. And then you can have you put the hat on over it. So bandanas are great. That's the only piece of cotton I would bring. Lastly, hats. Hats like this are great, but they're not as good as they could be. Again, if you had a hat like this, you might want to combine it with a bandana. Now you've got a little more sun protection from the sides. Still not great in the neck, but you can definitely bring a hat like this. If you have one, it's better than nothing, and it'll shield your face from the sun. But a sun hat is really, really a great piece of gear to have. I rock, this is the hat that I bring all the time. Again, it's so fashionable. It looks so good that why wouldn't you wear this? You know, I wear this around town. If I'm going to the grocery store, no, I don't. So the great thing about this hat is it provides sun protection all around. If the sun's anywhere near above me, I'm getting shade on all parts of my face. If it's coming in from this way, later in the day or early in the day, I need to do something else. Sometimes I'll tip it like this and hope for the best. Other times, you can hang something or whatever, or just reapply sunscreen. But any kind of wide-brimmed hat like this is going to be your best bet. This one also is great if it's raining. It's waterproof and lightweight, so the rain just flows off. People often ask, like, what's this stupid neck strap for? You'd be surprised when there's 40-mile-an-hour winds on the top of a ridge or somewhere, and you're hiking. Just a little bit of an angle of your head, and your hat just poof, it's gone. So that's why these all have these built in. Often I'll just put it in there and put it on my head and hike without it, because usually you're not in that kind of wind. Here's another one I got a while back. Don't like it as much because the brim's a little floppy. This one actually has a wire in the brim, so you can kind of shape it and keep it out of your face or whatever. Again, not a fashion accessory, but functional and a great piece of gear. Like I said, if this is all you have, bring it. If you think you're never going to use an ugly hat again, then don't get one. You'll be okay with this as long as you're pretty good about applying the sunscreen. Okay, I think that might be one last thing to mention. This is all the soft good stuff I bring. Some people think, oh, you're going to be swimming, so you need a towel. I found that when you're swimming, you're in, you're out, and you're dry in minutes. Again, it's so dry up here in the Sierra that I brought a towel, one of those little pack towels. You go to REI or one of these stores and you're like, oh, I could use that. And oh yeah, if I go swimming, I'll bring that and bring this and bring that. The biggest way to make your pack lighter is to just not bring as much stuff, period. Right? Just bring one pair of socks, maybe two. You don't need 4 pairs of socks. You don't need 3 shirts. I bring 1 shirt, right? And the rest is make me warm stuff. So with the towel, it's the same thing. I brought a pack towel for a while, just never used it. You get in the water, you get out of the water. As you're getting in, you think it's freezing. You're totally freezing when you're in the water. You're trying to catch your breath. You get out, and suddenly you're like, oh, I feel great. Your blood's flowing, and you're not really that cold. The sun is out, and you're dry immediately. So I've never had any need for a pack towel. And that's about it. I mean, there's not a lot of clothes to bring, so that's pretty simple. Yeah, so I'll see you next time.